There we go. Hello everyone. Welcome back to a little bit of SCP reading. Why I keep coming back? Honestly, SCP Wiki is very nice. That is why. So, we are starting back with SCP-031. Item number, SCP-031. Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-031 is currently contained in Ryugyong Hotel, located in the city of Pyongyang, Democratic People's Republic of Korea. As the nation it is located in is currently governed by an authoritarian regime with near-complete control of the state and national media. The possibility of information regarding 031 being released to the world is large at large, isn't it? As said regiment is also cooperating with the Foundation in order to maintain physical security of the state. Foundation personnel are instructed to comply with their directives so long as it does not interfere with larger Foundation aims. The structure of Ryongyang Hotel serves to contain SCP-031 within the central spire. 3 secondary spires, located at 120-degree intervals from the central pyramid, house Type 9 Heaven's Blade restriction systems. Calibrated to focus a disruptive energy field towards the central spire. Although unable to prevent physical escape of SCP-031, the system serves to prevent 031's psychic energies from escaping the structure and affecting off-site personnel. Reclamation efforts of the hotel are currently underway, with local governmental forces utilizing hazmat-suited personnel armed with flame projectors and chemical sprayers to decontaminate areas affected by SCP-031. However, due to the slow pace of progress and 031's defensive capabilities, reclamation efforts are drastically behind schedule. Personnel who become affected by 031's psychic abilities are to be terminated immediately to prevent their biomatter from being incorporated into the physical matrix. We're going to check out the note on the restricted symptoms. The Type 9 Heaven's Blade restriction systems are a locally manufactured version of the Right Psionic Field Disruptor. And the note about the reclamation efforts being behind schedule, footnote 3. Initial estimates are that SCP-031's central core would be reclaimed by 1989, but as of 2021, efforts are still ongoing. And then another footnote about the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. North Korea. I guess some people wouldn't know. Alright. Description. 031 is an amorphous organism with a mass of over 7,500 kilograms that has infiltrated the ductwork and maintenance infrastructure of the building. Tendrils emerging from 031's central mass have spread through the hotel's plumbing and ductwork to all 105 floors of the building. At its peak, over 75% of the hotel's 3,000 rooms were contaminated by 031. Reclamation efforts have destroyed blank percent of the initial infestation, but over blank rooms remain affected by SCP-031. 031 tendrils terminate in a pod-like structure, sporocarp, consisting an ovoid structure approximately 2 meters in length, with multiple cilia-like structures branching off of the main body. On some occasions, subjects in the presence of 031 sporocarp will instead perceive it as an individual the subject had close emotional connection to in the past. The 031 sporocarp will metamorphose into the shape of the person perceived and attempt to persuade the subject to remain with them for an extended period of time. The 031 sporocarp will next attempt to make physical contact with the targeted individual with their cilia-like structures. Digestive juices will be injected into the subject's body, and their flesh will be consumed and incorporated into the 031 body mass. In the meantime, a secondary flagellum will engulf the subject's cranium and brain, replacing the blood vessels with its own tendrils, which will maintain life support of the affected brain by some yet undiscovered means. The tendrils will decorroborate the subject and transport the subject's cranium back through the building's ductwork, where it is incorporated into the central mass. Footage taken through surveillance drones indicate that there are currently blank crania in the network of tendrils attached to 031's central mass. By all indications, the brains contained within are still alive and may be conscious. History. 031 was recovered on 10/22/1948, following contradictory police records taken after a riot in the city of Redacted, where several civilians had gathered around a refugee camp professing love and devotion to a cult-like leader whom they referred to as the Beloved. Once initial contact and assessment was made, the civilians were pacified through widespread distribution of inhaled tranquilizers and aerosolized amnestics. MTF Psi-7 was able to recover SCP-031's central mass and move it into containment. The note on Psi-7... we'll get back to it. Right. In its initial form, SCP-031 consisted of a singular amorphous entity, approximately 75 kilograms in weight, of vaguely humanoid shape. It had not yet manifested the ability to consume and incorporate human biomatter into itself, or any mind-affecting properties aside from inspiring unusual feelings of love and devotion. As of 11/16/1948, 031 had been classified as safe and was in containment at Site Blank. Unfortunately, the Korean conflict, which began on 6/25/1950, resulted in the destruction of the Foundation containment site at Pyongyang and the loss of all anomalies contained within. By the end of the conflict in 1953, all other anomalies were accounted for, either recovered or confirmed destroyed, aside from 031, which was presumed lost and in the wild. Foundation assets first became aware of the reemergence of 031 in 1992, when construction on the Ryongyang Hotel in Pyongyang suddenly halted. Personnel liaising with the local regime, picking words, no promise, with the local regime, confirmed that an anomalous effect had resulted in the disappearance of numerous workers employed in the construction of the hotel, and a Foundation Mobile Task Force was dispatched to investigate. All members of the NTF were subsequently lost in action, and the site was locked down and declared off limits. All work on Ryongyang Hotel ceased over 16 years, aside from the installation of the Heaven's Blade restriction system on the secondary spires. In 2008, increased infiltration of 031 into the building's infrastructure resulted in the possibility of its discovery by outside persons. The local regime immediately ordered that windows be installed on the structure to hide the existence of 031 from others, resulting in the loss of blank more construction workers. Unfortunately, that was perceived as the resumption of construction on the building, resulting in expectations that the structure would actually be completed and open to the public in the future. Reclamation efforts commenced within the year, utilizing flame and solvent-projecting equipment to destroy 031 tendrils and scauropods, with each team accompanied by a political officer assigned to terminate any personnel who became assimilated into 031. As of the current date, 2/27/2021, reclamation efforts are still underway. Foundation personnel are continuing to liaise with the local regime and monitor their progress, which is slow but steady. Appendix. Excerpt from RAISA email server. From Associate Directorate Eleanor Jones to Records Office 2201. Subject: Incomplete Special Containment Procedures for 031. Team, I have an issue that needs immediate clarification. I have the Ryongyang Hotel as the location of a mind-affecting stele from the Proto-Afro-Asiatic culture group. As you can see, that's the same location as this brain-stealing flesh network. Are these two objects related at all? Is this hotel some kind of DPRK containment facility? If so, we would put that into the object's special containment procedures file. Please reply at your earliest convenience. From Records Office 2201 to Associate Directorate Eleanor Jones. Read. Incomplete containment. Read. Incomplete special containment procedures file for 031. Eleanor. As far as my team can figure, there doesn't appear to be a link between the two objects. In fact, I'm getting conflicting reports from the containment team regarding whether or not either of these objects actually exist. The 1427 team is insisting the hotel is the site for the stealing, and there's no brain-eating flesh network there. And the DPRK government is part of the containment procedures. Then I have the team for 031 insisting that the DPRK government's involvement is purely politically motivated, i.e., we don't want to get involved so long as they're taking care of it, and there's no such thing as a mind-affecting stele located in the building. Which is concerning, given we've got two mind-affecting anomalies within the same space and two teams with separate stories here. Possibly Eastern Samothrace situation. When? That one. From Associate Director Eleanor Jones to Records Office 2201. Read. 031 and 1427 records conflict. Was incomplete special containment procedures file for 031. Okay, someone needs to get to the bottom of this. We don't have a useful database with such... We can't have a useful database with such blatantly contradictory information. Make it your first priority to resolve this. Records Office 2201 to Eleanor Jones. 031 and 1427 records conflict. Eleanor, will do. Entered into the tracker as 0000031F99ZX. With a sister ticket entered as 0011427F99ZX. Gwen. Eleanor Jones to Records Office 2201. Read. 031 and 1427 records conflict. Team, can I get an update on this issue? Records Office to Eleanor Jones. I'm going to skip over the reads for now, unless they change. Eleanor, my apologies. I guess I wasn't clear that further updates would be sent out through the tracker system. We're gathering information and assessing the situation. We'll keep you informed. Gwen. Eleanor Jones to Records Office 2201. Team, it's been 3 days. Can I please get the requested update? Or at least a deadline by which it'll be resolved. Records Office 2201 to Eleanor Jones. Eleanor. As I stated in Tracker Update 22 on this ticket, we've found that the problem is more complicated than we've expected, requiring us to physically send a person from HQ over to Pyongyang to investigate. It's taken us some time to get through the North Korean red tape, totalitarian governments, am I right? And to get the paperwork done to reassign Jenny's responsibilities while she's gone. Gwen. From Eleanor Jones to Records Office 2201. Read. What's the holdup? Team, it's been 2 weeks. Why is there no update on this issue? This is a highly time-sensitive issue, and your lack of progress is extremely disappointing. We need to get this resolved before Maria has to step in. From Records Office 2201 to Eleanor Jones. Eleanor, I can assure you that, per your instructions, resolving this issue has been our top priority. We've been cross-referencing between the documentation, and the only discrepancy appears to be the fact that there are discrepancies, as in, all the documentation for one project is internally consistent, and all the documentation for the second project is internally consistent. It's only when you put them together that things don't make sense. We tried talking to the project leads of both teams, but neither of them seems to know the other exists. We've tried having them look up the other team's SCP file on the system. They can read it just fine, but it doesn't make sense to them. 031 team has no record of 1427 on site and vice versa. We thought there might be some kind of time-space parallel dimension thing going, so we had a member of each team try to meet up in the same place at the Ryongyang Hotel. Ryongyang Hotel, outside the front entrance. They were not able to find each other, despite confirming that they were both in the same place at the same time, photographs with timestamps attached. We then had the two team members try to meet up at a location outside the hotel. They were able to meet up just fine. When they tried to return to the hotel together, they lost track of each other and ended up not being able to find each other. We tried sending Jenny over to Pyongyang to investigate. That was a pain in the ass, given visa restrictions into North Korea. They weren't able to meet up with both teams simultaneously, but were able to meet with each team one-on-one. Both teams gave them a tour of the containment facility, and everything seemed to be in order. 31 team showed them the reclaimed rooms and cleanup teams, while 1427 team showed them the location of the Steely. Neither team was able to allow direct contact with the anomaly because of the containment procedures, but they were able to confirm its existence through remote cameras. The DPRK team for 31 had no idea about the existence of any DPRK assets being used to contain 1427, and vice versa. This might not be too surprising given the information controls of that in that country. Make things even worse, Jenny got a call from enemy at the KR branch asking what the hell a RAISA staff member was doing in the city. Contacted them, and as far as KR was concerned, we do not and have not had any assets in the Ryongyang Hotel. Jenny went so far as to ask Ian me to take her to the hotel and show her around a bit. And when she got there, she couldn't find any trace of SCP-031 or 1427 or the teams involved with either. So in conclusion, after 3 weeks of hard work, we can conclude, with the evidence, one of the following must be true. 031 exists, and 1427 does not. 1427 exists, and 031 does not. Both 1427 and 031 exist, and there is an anomaly at Ryongyang Hotel preventing either team from knowing about one or proving the other exists. Neither SCP-031 or SCP-1427 exist, and there's an anomaly at the Ryongyang Hotel creating the impression that it exists in the RAISA central staff, but the KR branch staff are not affected. 5. One or both of 031 and 1427 may or may not exist, and the KR branch are under a mind-affecting compulsion that they do not, or we're under compulsion that it does. 6. All or none or some of the above may be true simultaneously due to multi-worlds theory, parallel universes, or timey-wimey fuckery shit. And if you have any idea on what we can fucking do, to fucking fix that shit, I've got. Gwen. Eleanor Jones to Records Office 2201. New directors. Hello, team. Effective immediately. Guinevere Kirkpatrick has been relieved of her duties at the project lead, or as the project lead at Records Office 2201. 2. All Records Office 2201 staff are to make the resolution of tickets 0000031F99ZX and 0011427F99ZX their top priority. No other work on any other project is to continue until this issue is resolved. I want hourly reports until this matter is concluded. From Director Maria Jones, Records Keeping and Information Security Administration. 2. All RAISA Associate Directors. Subject: blank, blank, blank. On farewell and other updates. Good afternoon, RAISA staff. Thank you again for all your hard work. Today's email will be a short one. 1. The 13.14 update of Scuttle has been updated to snapshot 2207D. Please remind your team leads to log into the test instance and confirm proper functionality. Send any bug reports to the Scuttle team as soon as possible. We know that this involves taking time out of your day for additional tasks, but the sooner we can complete this wide-scale stress test, the sooner we can roll out the new version and put some fears to rest. I am saddened to announce that Eleanor has chosen to retire due to health concerns. This announcement came as a surprise to me as well. Due to the sudden nature of her health crisis, she was unable to say goodbye to us before being transferred to Blank Hospital, where I understand she is convalescing nicely. Yes. Please expect a follow-up email with a link to a crowdfunding page for a going-away gift for her, as well as the address where you can send gift cards, gifts, and other well wishes. Until we can appoint a new AD to take over her project, we will temporarily be splitting her team up into several different existing ADs. Expect an announcement of the new table of organization by noon GMT. 3. Please take a moment during your next weekly team meeting to go over Section 22B, reporting inconsistencies in documentation of your handbook with your staff. And make sure that everyone knows the proper procedures to follow if and when you end up with a information anomaly. Maria. And now we're going to go to the Mobile Task Force. Okay, that's another SCP. We're not going to bring that up. Now continue with the Mobile Task Force Psi-7 Home Improvement Hub. Mobile Task Force Psi-7, official designation: Structural Anomaly Containment and Decommissioning Unit. Active status: currently active. Allegiance: Southern Europe Containment Directory. General information: founded 20th of December 1954. Original commanding agent Franklin Smith. Headquarters: Site 77 Barracks, province of L'Aquila, Southern Italy. European Union. Role: identifying and securing anomalous structures and man-made living spaces determined to be viable. Determine the viability of containment and enacting decommissioning procedures in the event that they are deemed necessary. Size: 16 officers, 150 agents, 20 special agents. Nickname: Home Improvement. Abbreviation log of Mobile Task Force Psi-7. 031. Hotel structure filled with subjects affected by 031 was cleared and secured by Psi-7 agents. Although resistance was universal among the affected subjects, no casualties occurred and the operation was successful. I'm going to skip over all of the other ones that are other SCPs, because I believe we'll be able to get to them later. Staffing information. Site 77 Liaison. Assistant Director of Security Theodore Anderson. Task Force Commander Calvin Blad. Ceremony Chief Scott Harper. Command Sergeant Major Nicholas Jurgestad. Commander of Intelligence Operations Majorie Holt. Commander of Field Operations Leon Ledford. Commander of Engineering Operations Connor Bathory. Commander of Disinformation Vivian Morodesi. Commander of Supply and Resources Alejandro Cavallero. Commander of Ballistic Operations Chuck Jefferson. Commander of Interpersonnel Affairs Rolf Vogel. Commander of Applied Intelligence Michael Nadrigahas. I pronounce that properly because I won't be able to do it. Commander of Aquatic Affairs, or Aquatic Operations. Sorry. Hannah Dam. Commander of Forensic Architecture Dr. Giles Matthews. Commander of Secure Containment Samuel Walker. Chief of Foreign Affairs Michael Castellano. Chief of Medical Affairs Emily Zelnicka. Zelnicka. No. Ranking Field Agent Liz Boyd. Linguistics Special Agent Joseph Lanning. Architectural Inspection Agent Pierre Mecanap. Ranged Explosive Special Agent Tony Atkinson. On-staff Psychologist Dr. Blair Roth. Task Force Personnel Breakdown. Have that? 16 Field Corps, 150 agents, 20 special agents, 10 explosive experts, 5 architectural specialists, thaumaturgical specialists 5, supporting personnel 22, and other personnel 17. Special equipment. The XM-25, a grenade launcher compatible with standard ammunition and a variety of other grenades like armor-piercing, shape charge, incendiary, kinetic penetrator, gyrojet variants, etc. Classified as a heavy weapon and therefore rarely used in fluid field operations. Equipped with a high-capacity drum magazine, fires a semi-automatic fashion. Flamethrower. A laser projector. A RTI hammer PI. A vehicles, NBT-70, and a VTS-1. I'm going to let people read through all of the annotations if they so wish. And then there are additional database entries, which we are not going to get into, and a link for Dr. Blair Roth, which we'll take a quick gander at. That's on the short side. We're not going to go to the weird tale. Name, Dr. Blair Roth. Security clearance under review. Occupation, monitor and recorder of internet nomadic threats. Previous Foundation occupation, psychiatrist and cognitive behavioral therapist. Site of operations, Site 77 in Dr. Roget's office in a cardboard box labeled Fort Castle. Supported by Dr. Roger, aka Therapy Human. Profile. Blair is a highly egotistical silver tabby cat that has become a member of the Foundation on 7/1/2013. She is often seen as hyper and can be found running around the hallways at any speed. She can gain much to many researchers' dismay who may be carrying any kind of object at the time. More often than not, Blair must be bribed into working with bits of tuna. It is currently unknown as to how Blair became a cat, and any comment on how this came to be has been met with various stories, lies, and insults, following by her running for high and hard reach places. Lacks thumbs. Blair has developed an unhealthy addiction to catnip after she learned of it via the website Tumblr and its users. Any stash of catnip found must be seized and destroyed. Current places to regularly check for cat inside Fort Astle. Under that one cat bed Blair never uses. Litter box. The rubber ducks on her desk. Aided in the capture and recording of SCP-2694 and 3011. We are not going to head down the end of that rabbit hole today, so we're going to head on to the next SCP, 032. 032, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. 032 is to be housed in an automated containment unit 535-15. Direct contact with 032 is to be restricted to research-relevant tasks only. Interviews, if deemed necessary, are to be carried out using the unit's remote communication array. While SCP-032's presence is not directly harmful to the human body, exposure to it is to be limited to periods of 12 hours or less due to its adverse effects on most beneficial microorganisms. 032 is not to be exposed to any biological material that is not refined or otherwise tempered by humanity, with an emphasis on non-living entities. For a full list of classifications, see document 032 RCL. 032 neither requires nor requests substances or other forms of comfort. Description. 032 is a Type F, imperfect external resemblance, internally inconsistent, human simulacrum of currently unknown origins. It is composed of an outer shell of pigmented silicon, 5.5 millimeters thick, and various plastic fiber polymers. With the outward appearance of a Caucasian woman nearing the third decade of life, SCP-032's interior is composed entirely of liquid refined oil, lacking any skeletal or muscular structure. Despite this, 032 is capable of locomotion and speech. 032 is capable of maintaining the illusion of humanity at a moderate distance, but becomes unconvincing at a closer range, causing discomfort in her observers. This effect is deemed non-anomalous. Despite apparently possessing fully realized cognitive abilities, 032 claims that it is not sapient, acting only as an intermediary instrument of its creators. The Foundation has not been able to verify or refute this claim as of yet. 032 possesses extreme adverse effects to any biological entity in its close vicinity not created, willfully influenced, manipulated by, or similarly relating to humanity. While the exact nature of these effects varies, 032's presence invariably causes severe, irreparable damage to the ability of any living organism to exchange and or use energy. Wild flora loses its ability to photosynthesize or otherwise produce or consume energy. Fauna, the use of its respiratory or digestive systems, etc. This applies to microorganisms as well, though SCP-032's effects seem to favor damage to their reproductive system instead. It is hypothesized that the symbiotic relations some organisms have with humanity is the reason for this discrepancy. 032 was discovered sitting on the doorstep of the inner compound of Foundation Site blank near blank Slovakia. When questioned by Foundation security personnel, SCP-032 explained its anomalous effects and claims it was there to be stored. Surveillance footage showed no record of the time of its arrival, and it is not yet known how 032 came to Site Blank's location or approached it without being spotted. And as for its reason for seeking Foundation custody, 032 replied it was there at the command of its creators, seeking indefinite storage until claimed. Interview 032A. Note: this interview was recorded near the time of 032's initial containment by Dr. Alexander Kovac, Site Blank resident psychologist, following its initial examination by site security. Begin log. Dr. Kovac. Before we begin, there's something I should ask you, since security so often neglects doing so. It's not strictly conforming to protocol, but I find it tends to make things easier. 032. I was instructed to cooperate. Dr. Kovac. Good, very good. Tell me then, what is your name? 032. I don't have one. People have names. I not one. Dr. Kovac. Is that so? What did your so-called creators call you then? SCP-032. They didn't. Dr. Kovac. Surely they had to refer to you somehow. 032. I am a vessel of their will and nothing else. They never needed to call. Never will. Dr. Kovac. In that case, would you mind if I refer to you as SCP-032? 032. I was instructed to cooperate. Dr. Kovac. So you said. So you said. Tell me then, what is the purpose of your coming here? SCP-032. I am to be stored here. We'll collect it. Dr. Kovac. Security told me that much. But why here? And collected by whom? 032. Collected by the ones they wish to torment. And stored here because in finding me here, he will suffer further. Dr. Kovac. Is that so? Is that person you refer to part of this organization, then? Do your creators bear some grudge towards a particular operative? 032. He is not one of you, merely a one-time sympathizer of sorts. He believes you tried to help him once, and if he is forced here, if he finds me here, he will die. That will hurt him. They have no interest in any of you or your organization. You are here as a tool, just as I am. Dr. Kovac. Who is this man, then? What did he do to earn this sort of treatment from your creators? 032. He did not know his place. Won when he should have lost. Was proud when he should have been humble. Was wasteful with gifts too precious to abuse. Dr. Kovac. And you are here as punishment? 032. He was already punished, severely. Forced away from kin and kind to endlessly wander, to destroy against his will. Poison humanity by his very presence. Eternal solitude, flavored by ceaseless guilt. A masterwork of torment, they say. Dr. Kovac. If that's the case, why are you here? 032. Because even in this existence, there is an occasional moment of solace. At times, he may yet look to the world and see things he will not destroy. Look to nature and feel warm wonder, and bask in the false light of ancient moldy memories. It keeps him sane, gives him hope. That will not serve. It's my presence. I am to be his last undoing, a hastening to the end of reason. Dr. Kovac. And how will your presence do that? Are you meant to deceive him in some way? Is that why you look the way you do? 032. In a manner of speaking, eventually his wanderings will lead him here, to me. In a day, or a month, or a century, he will recognize me, and see what they think of his precious memories, how they mock him. He'll understand that because of his actions, she is lost forever beyond his grasp, and all that remains to him is me. Simulacrum, as artificial as his hope. When he finds me, I will attach myself to him. He will watch the mockery of his memories destroy his last sense, source of solace. That will be that. Dr. Kovac. You said he will recognize you. Why? 032. I used to be his wife. End log. Interview 032-B. Note: this interview was held 6 months following SCP-032's initial containment, as part of a series of interviews meant to evaluate 032's cognitive abilities, personality, or lack thereof. Begin. SCP-032. I hate her. Dr. Kovac. Well, that's certainly a way to start the interview. Care to elaborate? 032. The one I was made to look like. My mold. I hate her. Dr. Kovac. An interesting sentiment for you to have, considering your repeated assurance that you possess no consciousness or feelings of your own. SCP. I don't. I hate her because they want me to. It serves their purpose. Dr. Kovac. How do you get that impression? 032. The first thing they did after creating me was show her to me. It's not something they often do. Kovac. I don't follow. 032. Interfere with those who passed beyond their halls. They might be vengeful, spiteful, even cruel, but they take their duties very seriously. Just to show her to me, they risk disturbing her final rest. They wouldn't do that without purpose. Dr. Kovac. And 032. She was beautiful, so peaceful, serene, calm, even gone, even dead. I could see the essence of who she used to be, of who she was, and forever will be. Her soul. They told me she didn't get to live for all that long, but when she lived, she was herself. She was alive, and so I hate her. Do you know what it feels like to be made as a mockery? In every line of that smooth, silent face, I saw a twisted reflection of my own. Fragment skin to molded plastic, soft hair to synthetic fiber, blood to oil, soul to nothing at all. Dr. Kovac. Excuse me if this sounds presumptuous, but I can't imagine feeling like this coming from anywhere but yourself. 032 shakes head. Can't you see? This is all part of their plan. When he finds me, when he sees what the brothers created just to punish him further, he will go mad. Kovac. Because of what they did to the memory of his wife? 032. Not only that, because he'll see me. He'll see how much I hate her, and how much I hate myself for not being her. Hated being here at all. Dr. Kovac. Then what? 032. Then a final realization. Kovac. And that would be 032. He never won. And that is the end of 032. Give me a quick second to ban out this good old chatbot. Let's see. There. There we go, report. Spam, scam, and bots. Oh, it's all of them. I don't want to specify one. Check chat. Submit report. And block the user. And there we go. On to SCP-033. 033, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-033 should be inscribed on any single sheet of irregularly shaped and handcrafted paper, papyrus, canvas, or vellum, when not involved in active observation or study. The dimensions of the paper-like product should have no parallel borders, no right angles, and no sides length should be equal to any other. 033's safe dimensions. When contained in this manner, the paper-like product should be secured in a locked, non-combination storage vault at least 30 meters from any computing or recording device. Logs for checkout or check-in of SCP-033 should be filled out at the minimum safe distance of 30 meters to avoid possible contamination of the paper product or electronic device the log is kept in. When removed for study, 033 can be copied to a white chalkboard with 033 safe dimensions by Class D staff. Upon transfer to the white chalkboard, the white or chalkboard, the paper-like product that had contained 033 should be incinerated. Observation and study should take place in a secured conference room at least 30 meters from any computing or recording device with the maximum 2,560-second viewing window. All observations or notes should be made on 033 safe materials. Under no circumstances should any notes regarding SCP-033 leave the storage facility or be input into a computing or recording device. At precisely 2,000 seconds of viewing, research must stop, and 033 must be transferred to a new 033 safe paper-like product and returned to storage by D-Class staff, or Class D staff. The white or chalk board utilized in research must be incinerated as soon as possible after the transfer is complete, regardless of whether SCP-033 has faded naturally from its surface at 2,560 seconds. Whether 033-safe procedures halt or merely slow the deleterious effects of 033 is unknown. It is theorized the irregular borders and handcrafting by mathematically unpredictable humans somehow disrupt the logic which allows 033 to function. Description: 033 appears as a field of complex mathematical symbols, ranging from simple layman identical representations to those only interpretable by highly trained mathematicians. The sum of the symbols is equal to a previously unknown integer, designated theta prime by Professor Hutchinson, of intermediate value between blank and blank. As all modern mathematical calculations are performed lacking the knowledge or use of SCP-033, its introduction to any organized system without it begins eroding the numerically and eventually structural integrity of said system. This effect extends to SCP-033's transfer to any paper-like, defined as paper, vellum, iris, canvas, surface, not possessing 033's safe dimensions or any computing or recording device it is input into. If inscribed on any other material, 033 fades into unintelligible in precisely 25-60 seconds. In addition, 033 has shown an ability to leap from a 033 safe material to a manufactured or electronic material which it can destabilize in at least one instance. Incident Report 033-D, requiring the institution of a 30-meter safe zone for electronic devices and paper-like products without 033 safe dimensions. There is currently no 033 safe specifications from electronic storage. Blank of the blank operational research projects involving SCP-033 are dedicated to finding such a method for electronic storage. Blank operational research projects are dedicated to the application of 033 as a neutralizing factor for potentially hostile machine logic-based SCP objects. Clarifying commentary from Professor Hutchinson follows for non-specialized staff in Documentation 033-A. Effects may be reviewed in Documentation 033-Q. Document 033-A. A briefing of Professor Hutchinson after first observation. Transcript edited for clarity. Professor Hutchinson. Every school child knows that 2 plus 2 is 4. The mathematical certainty of numerical order and value is the basis of all logical systems. We know that after 2 comes 3, after 3 comes 4. What this formula proves is that we missed a number somewhere. Imagine if our technology was based on the belief that after 4 came 6. We simply didn't know or conceive of 5. That is, in essence, what this formula proves. We missed a number. I can't tell you why the handcrafted vellum works best. I can only surmise that it displaces mathematical predictability in two ways. One, the irregularity of the crafting process due to human error serves to eliminate any trace of regularity that would be found in a machine-created product. 2. The irregular borders seem to confuse it somehow, as if it gets locked up and looking for a pattern to identify and use as an escape hatch. I'll tell you this, though. I don't think it should be left for any longer than a few days. It will find a pattern eventually. I don't think it destroys anything. I think it tries integrating itself into our systems, and our systems can't hold it. It's like trying to cram another book into a full bookshelf. If you get a hammer, you can get it in there, but the whole shelf bursts eventually. If it gets out on the internet, it will potentially create a full IT infrastructure collapse within hours. Documentation 033-Q. Test results. Trial 033 Delta 5. 033 transcribed into a sheet of standard 8.5 by 11-inch manufactured white copy paper, hereafter X1. A second sheet of identical paper, hereby X2, placed 30 centimeters away. 80 seconds. Symbols consistent with the content of SCP-033 begin appearing on X2. X1 unchanged. 160 seconds. Full content of SCP-033's formulae appear on the surface of X2. X1 unchanged. 320 seconds. X1, X2 both appear wet. Symbols still visible. 640 seconds. X1 is now roughly 1 part water and 5 parts pulp-like substance, still filling an 8.5 by 11-inch flat plane. Symbols become unintelligible. X2 still appears wet. Symbols visible. 1,280 seconds. X1 no longer visible at all. Liquid part appears to have evaporated. Pulp-like substance appears sublimated. X2 now roughly 1 part liquid and 5 parts pulp-like substance, still filling an 8.5 by 11-inch flat plane. Symbols unintelligible. 2,560 seconds. X2 no longer visible at all. Liquid part appears to have evaporated. Pulp-like substance appears sublimated. That is the end of SCP-032. I believe there were any links along the way? Yes. I think there was a movie based off of this. I'm not entirely sure, though. Either way, on to SCP-034. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. 034 is to be kept in a secure room, with access granted only to Level 4 personnel. SCP-034 itself will be kept in a locked case, that is under 24-hour surveillance. When not in lab conditions, 034's protective sheath cannot be removed under any circumstance. Any personnel in contact with 034 must be placed under a 24-hour observation period until their identities can be confirmed. Description: 034 is a primitive knife constructed out of pure obsidian. Tests reveal that 034 is approximately 1,000 years old. Despite its crude method of construction and age, 034 is still incredibly sharp and requires no maintenance to retain its edge. Expert analysis hypothesizes that 034 may be of Southern American origin, and that it may be used in Native American rituals. Several accounts from Spanish conquistadors exploring the blank region support this hypothesis, with detailed writings on how blank priests used to flay their victims alive with similar knives and wear their skin as a tribute to their gods. 034 has the ability to allow its bearer to take the appearance of another individual. If 034 is used to cut a piece of flesh from a living individual, that piece of flesh is and that piece of flesh is placed against the skin of another individual, the second individual would not only take on the appearance, but all physical characteristics of the first individual. Testing has shown that the minimum amount of skin required can be as little as 1 square centimeter. However, testing has revealed that the amount of time the transformation lasts is directly proportional to the amount of flesh used. The ratio of time the transformation lasts to flesh used is approximately 1 hour for every square centimeter used. Once the time limit has passed, the affected individual will revert to their original form. Analysis of 034's ability has shown its methods of mimicking another individual as nearly flawless. Not only does 034 change its bearer's physical appearance, but their actual physical attributes as well, including height, weight, muscle mass, bone density, hair growth, eyesight, strength, physical medical conditions, and even DNA. The only physical traits not carried over are in the transformation process are the wounds caused by SCP-034 itself. Subjects will retain their original personality and their memories while transformed. Even while the process is nearly instantaneous, taking only a few seconds, human subjects have described the transformation process as extremely painful. Subjects also may suffer psychological trauma depending on the extent of their physical transformation. Side effects are especially serious if the subject takes on the appearance of a person with different gender or wildly different physical attributes. However, in order to function properly, the individuals have to cut their flesh off by SCP-0. Individuals who have their flesh cut off by 034 must still be biologically alive to maintain the transformation. Should the individual whose identity has been stolen expire, the effects immediately wear off. Further details may be found in the lab report 034A. Also, 034 only appears to work on human subjects. Cross-species experimentation with 034 has resulted in data expunged. 034 came into Foundation possession when an imposter disguised as Dr. Blank attempted to infiltrate Site Blank. The imposter was apprehended when authorities discovered the real Dr. Blank tied up in his home with a large amount of his right arm skinned. Further details may be found in Post-Interrogation Report 2211. Lab Report 034A. We've decided to test several scenarios dealing with the limits of 034's capabilities. Test 1. Sample taken from deceased human cadaver and applied to subject D452. No observable. Test 2. Sample taken from D532 and applied to D452. D452 successfully mimics 532's appearance. Upon termination of 532, 432 immediately reverts back to original form. Test 3. Test sample taken from D433 while under a medical-induced coma and applied to subject D452. D452 successfully mimics D33's appearance and manages to maintain the transformation in consciousness. Test 4. Sample taken from a brain-dead medical patient who suffered a massive brain hemorrhage and applied to D452. D452 successfully mimics the patient's appearance but immediately loses consciousness of transformation. D452 does not regain consciousness until the transformation period expires. D452 retains no memory of the event. Test 5. Sample taken from D625, who suffered a broken arm due to a confrontation with security staff. D452 successfully mimics D25's appearance, including the broken arm. D452's broken arm is remended when the transformation period expires. Test 6. Sample taken from a terminally ill medical patient and applied to D452. The patient's terminal illness was caused by inherent genetic defect. D452 successfully mimics the patient's appearance as well as the patient's illness. Both the terminally ill patient and D452 expire at the same time, after which D452 reverts back to original form. Test 7. Sample taken from a chimpanzee and applied to D466. experiences rapid growth of hair across the entire body. There are no otherwise significant physical or psychological changes. Body hair disappears when the transformation period expires. Test 8. Sample taken from the Atlantic Salmon, applied to D466. There is no observable effect. Test 9. Under O5 authorization, a test sample from SCP blank is applied to D466. D466 exhibits extremely adverse reaction upon transformation and data expunged, resulting in significant damage to testing environment and multiple injuries among the test and security staff, and the death of D466. Testing of anomalous humanoids with SCP-034 is suspended indefinitely. Post-interrogation report, 2211. As per standard operating procedure, we first attempted to interrogate the prisoner via non-violent and non-invasive means. However, such methods proved ineffective. We began to implement conventional interrogation techniques. When partially successful, we deemed it necessary to use SCP blank, SCP blank, SCP blank, and SCP blank. We managed to learn the following facts. The prisoner has extensive knowledge on the existence of the Foundation and its inner workings. The prisoner has extensive knowledge on other SCP-related agencies and groups. The prisoner is not acting under any official capacity from any government agencies. The prisoner obtained SCP-034 and instructions on its operation from an unknown benefactor. The prisoner was given very specific instructions to infiltrate Site Blank and maintain his position until further notice. The prisoner had enough samples of Dr. Blank to stay on Site Blank for blank days. Regrettably, the prisoner did not survive interrogation. And that is going to be where we wrap up our SCP reading for today. Next time we'll come back with SCP-035. But until then, thank you very much for coming. It's been wonderful reading to you all. If you came to the stream, because I think one or two people did pass through apart from the bot account, I thank you very much for coming. If you're on YouTube, I encourage you to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it and want to see more. For now though, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again.